I'm Payton Holmes, Doctor of Chiropractic at Personal Best Chiropractic, where our goal is to get you out of pain and help you be your best. This video is focused around mobility and recovery and is intended to reduce joint stiffness and muscle soreness after a competition. This is appropriate after any competition, whether you're a marathon runner, football player, golfer, swimmer, tennis, lacrosse, whatever your sport is. This is an appropriate day after competition recovery. This workout should be 100% pain-free. If you experience any pain during this workout, consult with me or your local PT or chiropractor to figure out a solution. Let's just jump right into it. We're going to start with our feet, work our way up the rest of the body. The foot and ankle is the foundation of any movement we do. A properly functioning foot and ankle allows the rest of our body to move optimally. So we're going to start there. So what we're going to do, we're going to bend those toes back, get a little stretch of the plantar fascia on the bottom of our foot. And we're going to push our toes down. We're just going to do that a couple times each direction. Add a little bit more pressure each time you stretch it. Get those joints and little muscles moving in your foot a little bit. And we'll do the same thing with the other foot. So pull those toes back, push them down. Pull the toes back, push them down. Next, we're going to do metatarsal shear. So metatarsals are the little bones just below each toe. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab just below each toe and we're going to shear back and forth, just like that. So between the first and the second joint, moves quite a bit. Between the second and the third, it doesn't move quite as much, but you should still feel a little massage there in those joints. Third and fourth moves a little bit more. And then between the fourth and fifth, it moves quite a bit. Then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So again, grab just below the toes, shear them back and forth. You might even get a little pop in this joint right here. And if you're doing this and it feels like that joint's just not really moving or not loosening up the more you do this, this is something we can adjust as well, and it responds really quickly to that. Next, we're going to do a little exercise to work on the muscles of the foot. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to spread our toes apart, and then we're going to squeeze them together. So spread the toes apart, squeeze them together. Spread the toes apart, squeeze them together. We'll do that with the other foot as well. I'm not as good on this side, so it might not be as pretty, so spread them apart, squeeze them together, and they don't like to squeeze on this side. Spread them apart, squeeze them together. Spread them apart, squeeze them together. Next one, we're going to lift our big toe off the mat and dig our 4 small toes into the mat. And then we'll do the opposite. Push the big toe into the mat and lift the 4 small ones off. You might get a little cramp in the foot the first time you do these, but this is a great one to do almost daily. Just strengthen up those small little muscles of the foot so it can support your arch better. We'll do the same thing with the other foot. So big toe up, 4 little toes down, big toe down, 4 little toes up. All right, so now we're going to work at the ankles a little bit. So we're going to plantar flex, pointing our foot straight ahead. We're going to dorsiflex, trying to bring our foot towards our knees. Plantar flex, dorsiflex. We're getting a little bit of motion into the ankle joint here, as well as working some of the muscles that are responsible for those movements. Next, we're going to invert our foot, so that means we're going to point the soles of our feet towards each other, and then we're going to evert our foot, trying to point the soles of our feet away from each other. It's a good one if you've ever had a sprained ankle. I'm sure you're familiar with this exercise if you have had a sprained ankle. Next, we're going to take our ankle through a circular range of motion. So we're going to point and draw a circle with our toe. And reverse the direction. And we'll do the same thing with the other foot. Point the toe, draw a circle. I want to draw the biggest circle we can. And then we'll reverse the direction. And the last one we're going to do here for the ankle is a little dorsiflexion mobilization. So we're going to try to pull our toes further towards our knee. So you might feel a little pinch in the joint here or a stretch in the back of the joint here. We want to try to get that sensation to go away. If that sensation kind of stays there and it doesn't really go away from doing this stretch, this is actually a joint that we can adjust and it will respond pretty quickly when you're having those symptoms of pinching or pressure. And we'll do the same thing with the other foot. Pull it towards your knee, relax. Pull it towards your knee, and relax. You can do this as much as you need to try to get a little bit of motion into that joint. And again, this should all be non-painful. If you have any pain, stop doing that movement. That's all for the foot and ankle. Now we're going to move to the upper leg and the hips. So we're going to start in a lunge position. We're going to have one knee down. We're going to step out kind of far with the other foot. What we're going to do, we're going to lunge towards that front foot, work on stretching the hip flexors here, get a little bit of hip extension, and then we're going to rock back and dorsiflex our toe, do a gentle hamstring stretch. We're going to alternate between those positions. We're going to stretch the hip flexor here. We're going to rock back, stretch the hamstring on the other leg. Start nice and gentle with this. With each rep, try to stretch just a little bit more. A day after competition, you're probably a little bit sore in these areas. So start nice and gentle. We want you to feel good after this workout, not be in more pain. Just nice, gentle movement. Stretch those muscles a little bit. Get the joint moving a little bit. Then we're going to switch sides. We're going to put the other knee down, lunge out kind of far with that opposite leg. Lunge towards the front leg, feeling a stretch in that down hip. We're going to rock back. Get a hamstring stretch in the front leg. If you want a little bit more intense stretch, bring your hands down, stretch towards that hamstring. If you want a more intense stretch on the hip extension, you can take your hand, kind of push your hips forward just a little bit further. You can do this as many times as you need to get those joints and muscles kind of loosen up, relax a little bit, get some blood flowing to them. And then we'll move on to the next one. So the next one, we're going to be in a seated position. We're going to do single knee tuck. So we're going to take our knee and touch it to the ground in front of us. Working on rotation of the hip joint. And again, this should be non-painful, so if you have any pain, during this movement, don't do it. That's not normal, and you should contact your doctor to figure out a solution to that. Now we're going to do both knees. So one knee is going to fall to the middle, the other is going to fall to the outside. And then switch and do the other side. Now we're going to sit in a cheerleader position. So one knee tucked in front, the other tucked behind. What I want you to do is I want you to kind of lean forward. You'll feel a stretch in this front hip here. And then come back. Do that a couple times. Lean forward, get a little stretch in that hip. Feel a little stretch in the glute muscles on that side. And then come back. For the next one, what we're going to do is we're going to lean towards this front knee. And what we're going to do is we're going to lift this back ankle off the ground. Hold that for a few seconds. You might feel a cramping sensation right in here if you haven't done this before. And then we're going to lift the knee off the ground as high as we can. We'll do that a couple times. So lift the ankle, hold it, and relax. We're going to lift that knee, hold it, and relax. And then we'll switch our feet and do the same on the other side. So start out stretching straight ahead, feeling a little stretch in this glute here. Should be a pretty gentle stretch. We'll come back up and do that a couple times. One more time. And back up. Now, same thing, we're going to lean towards this leg. We're going to lift that back ankle off the ground. Hold it for a few seconds and relax. We're going to lift the knee off the ground. Hold it and relax. We'll do that a couple times. Lift the ankle and relax. Lift the knee and relax. Now we can make this exercise a little bit more intense by bringing our knee to a 90-degree angle in both the front and the back. So we want 90-degree angle here, 90-degree angle here. We'll kind of do the same thing. So you can kind of use your arm to support yourself. We're going to lean forward. This is the same stretch, it just brings the intensity up a little bit. From there, we're going to take this knee, we're going to try to push it into the ground. And relax. Push the knee into the ground and relax. It's a pretty intense stretch. You might feel some cramping, a little bit of discomfort, but shouldn't be painful. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to lean towards this front leg. We're going to try to lift that back ankle off the ground. This one's a lot harder. And then down. Then lift the knee up and down. Do that a couple times. Lift that ankle and relax. Lift that knee and relax. And then we'll go ahead and switch sides. Do the same thing on this side. So 90-degree angle at that front knee, 90-degree angle at that back knee. Use our arm for a little bit of support. We'll lean forward, get a little stretch. Come back. Get a little stretch in that front glute. And then we're going to take this knee and push it into the ground. And relax. And again, push that knee into the ground. And relax. Now we're going to lean towards that front knee. We're going to lift that back ankle off the ground. And relax. Then lift the knee off the ground. And relax. And do that a couple times. Lift the ankle. And lift the knee. Good. All right, last thing we're going to work on for the hips is a deep squat position. So I'm gonna use this doorknob for support. You can use doorknob, countertop, whatever it is. What we want to do is we want to try to squat as deep as we can and keep our chest up, looking straight ahead. Some of you might only be able to go to here to start. Eventually, we want to be able to get to the point where we can sit completely into that bottom position of the squat, keeping a nice upright spine so we're not curled over like this. We want to keep that head and chest pointed straight ahead. We want to hold this position for as long as we can. Starting out, like I said, you might only be able to get this deep, and you might only be able to hold this position for 15 to 30 seconds. But as we get better, we'll be able to get a little bit deeper into this position. We'll be able to hold it a little bit longer. And the goal is to be able to get into a full squat like this without using support and be able to hold it for 1 to 2 minutes. But it's a slow progression to get there. So we're gonna go ahead and stand up. We'll do that a couple times. So same thing, grab onto your support, squat as deep as you can. And this is gonna be different for everyone. Keep that chest up, look straight ahead. You wanna try to get into this position eventually, but most of you likely are not gonna be starting at this position. When you can't hold that anymore, we're gonna go ahead and stand up, shake out the legs. We're gonna do it one more time. Same thing, grab onto your support, squat as deep as you can, keeping that chest up, spine in a neutral position. I want you to hold this position for as long as you can. Up to 2 minutes. And whenever you can no longer hold the position, go ahead and stand up. Next, we're going to start working on the low back as well as the mid back. So what I want you to do is I want you to lay flat on your back, with your feet flat on the floor, knees bent. What I want you to do is I want you to put one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. We're going to work on breathing into that belly. So what I want you to do is when we inhale, belly rises. So we exhale, the belly falls. Inhale, the belly rises. Exhale, it falls. We want the hand on our chest to remain completely still this whole time, and all the breathing happens into our belly. So inhale, belly rises, exhale, belly falls. Let's do that for about 10 breaths. Inhale, the belly rises. Exhale, the belly falls. Go ahead, continue breathing like that. Next one we're going to do, we're going to bring the knees to the chest. From there, we're going to put our arms out to the side. We're going to let our knees fall to one side. Kind of gives us a big stretch through the low back and the mid back. If we want to add a little extra pressure to the stretch, we can take that hand and push that knee down. Just hang out in this position a little bit, get a little bit of a stretch in that low back. Then we'll come back to where we started. We'll do the same thing to the other side. Let the knees fall to the side, all the way to the ground. If you need a little extra pressure, take your hand, put it on that knee. We want both our shoulders to stay on the ground the whole time. Just get a nice rotation through the whole spine. And come back, both feet on the ground. For this next one, we're going to return to lying on our back with our feet flat on the ground, knees bent. We're going to take our left ankle, put it on our right knee. From there, we're going to take our hand and push that leg towards the wall by our feet, and then relax. Push that knee towards the wall. You should be feeling a stretch on the outside of the leg here, from that hip up to that knee. And relax. We'll do that one more time. Push that towards the wall by your feet. And relax. Now we're going to actively push that knee towards the wall. So from this position, push that knee towards the wall and relax. Push the knee towards the wall and relax. Now we're going to let the knee and the foot fall to the side. Keep both shoulders on the ground, and we're going to do the same thing. Push that knee towards the wall by our feet and relax. And one more time, push that knee towards the wall and relax. Come back to the starting position and we'll switch it up. So right ankle goes on the left knee. Take our hand and push that knee towards the wall and relax. Use your hand to push that knee towards the wall and relax. Now we're going to actively do that movement by ourselves. Push that knee towards the wall and relax. Push that towards the wall and relax. Let that knee and foot fall to the ground. Shoulders stay flat on the ground. Gives a nice rotation through the spine. Push that knee towards the wall. Get a stretch from that hip all the way to that knee along that IT band. And relax. And again, stretch that and relax. One more time, push that knee towards the wall. And relax. Come back to the middle. Next, we're going to work a bit on our mid-back. So we're going to be on our hands and knees just like this. What I want you to do is I want you to round that back towards the ceiling. Tuck that chin. Then we're going to do the opposite. We're going to try to sink that chest towards the floor and raise our head. Start nice and gentle with this. As you start to loosen up, try to go further and further each direction on this stretch. It's a nice one, just kind of get the mid-back moving. If it's a little bit stiff in the morning. And if you're doing this and there's a spot that no matter how much you do it, it just won't completely loosen up, that's perfect for a chiropractic adjustment. Help get those moving just a little bit more than what you can do on your own with this stretch. Once you've done that a few times, gotten the mid-back nice and loose, now we're going to work on rotation. So we're going to take our left hand, reach up towards the ceiling, open that chest up, and then we're going to reach down between our hand and our knee. Put our left shoulder on the mat and rotate as far as we can that way. Then we'll push ourselves up, reach that left hand towards the ceiling, open that chest up towards the wall, and then I'll reach down through, putting that left shoulder on the mat. reach up towards the ceiling. Reach down through. Put that left shoulder on the mat. So a really good one for rotational sports like baseball and tennis, where it requires a lot of mid-back rotation and flexibility. So we're getting extension and rotation as we reach towards the ceiling. Then we get flexion and rotation the other direction as we put our left shoulder on the mat. Then we'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So now our right hand going to reach up towards the ceiling, and then our right hand is going to reach down through. Right hand reaches towards the ceiling, and then we reach down and through. Do that a couple more times. Just like the last exercise, if there's a spot in your spine that continues to stay tight no matter how much you do this, chiropractic adjustment can really help to get those joints moving just a little bit more so that you can recover a little bit faster from your workouts. Next, we're going to work on our neck and our shoulders. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your ear, bend to the side towards our shoulder, get a nice stretch through this side. And then with just our fingertips, add a little extra pressure to the stretch. Should be nice and gentle stretch. We don't want to go cranking on our neck, doing a really intense stretch. It should be very gentle stretch. Come back to the middle. Go do it to the other side. Let that ear fall towards our shoulder. Get a nice stretch over here. And then using just our fingertips, add a little extra pressure to the stretch. Again, we want it to be a very gentle stretch. And then we'll come back to the middle. Now we're going to do the same thing, ear to the shoulder. We're going to rotate our nose towards the ground just a little bit. And then same thing, using just our fingertips, add a little bit extra pressure. So this just changes the muscle we're stretching just a little bit. And then come back to the middle. We'll do the same thing to the other side. So bend to the side, rotate our nose towards the ground, and then using our fingertips, add a little bit extra pressure. Good. Then I'm going to kind of turn to the side so you can see this better. We're going to do extension of the neck. So first thing we have to do is we have to retract our neck, which means our chin is going to move straight back until our ears are over top of our shoulders. It'll kind of look like we have like a double chin going on. So chin comes straight back. From there, let the head fall back. Chin towards the ceiling. And then come back. We'll do that a couple times. So start by retracting the chin, and then let the head fall back. And this shouldn't be painful at all. If you get any pinching sensation or painful sensation, get it checked out by a doctor. That's not normal. But we'll just do that a couple more times. So bring the chin straight back, let the head fall back. And if this feels good and you feel like you could stretch it just a little bit further, we can do that by taking our two fingers and just adding a little extra push at the end of the motion. It doesn't take much. So same thing, retract the chin, let the head fall back, take our fingers, add a little extra stretch. All right, so now we're going to get into the shoulders and work those shoulders through a big range of motion. So I'm going to turn around so you can see this a little bit better. What we're going to do is we're going to try to draw a big letter C with our hand. So we're going to start with our arm straight out to the side. Going to reach up as high as we can. And then we're going to reach that hand down as far as we can behind our back And then come back up, reach up as high as we can, out to the side, reach down as far as we can, rotate our hands so our palm is facing away from our back. Now we're going to reach up our back as far as we can. We're just going to go through that range of motion, kind of like we're drawing a big C through the air. Just working that shoulder joint through a big range of motion. It's a ball and socket joint that's meant to move through a large range of motion. So we're just moving it, getting that joint warmed up, getting those muscles in the area moving, turned on a little bit, get the blood flowing. And then we'll do the same thing with the other side. So, same thing, reach behind our head, reach up as far as we can, reach out to the side, reach down, palm rotates away from our back as we reach underneath and up our back as far as we can. Draw a big C. So this one's going to be very similar to the last one we did, but we're going to do it laying face down. So nose touching the ground, arms down to our side. What I want you to do is I want you to reach back as far as you can with that arm, come out to the side and reach overhead, and then come back and down. A little bit like the last one we did. We're just not reaching behind our back. This one requires a little bit more muscle strength and activation. Then we'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So reach back. And down. And again, this should be non-painful. If you have any pain, this is not normal, don't do this exercise. Contact your doctor to figure out a solution. The last exercise we're going to do is a basic push-up from our knees. To get into the correct position, the first thing I want you to do is spread your hand as wide as you can. We're going to put our thumb directly underneath our shoulder joint. From there, we're going to lower our hand until our thumb is at about the level of our nipple. This puts us in a very neutral position so our elbows aren't super flared out or super tight to our body. Gives us a nice neutral position so we can do our push-ups. Let's go ahead and do 5 push-ups. Not super difficult, we just want to get the blood moving. We want to get the joint moving through a moderate range of motion. Just get everything warmed up and loosened up in the area. So we'll do that a couple more times. The same thing, big wide hand, start at the level of your shoulder, lower it until it's at about the level of your nipple, and then do a couple push-ups. That's all for this post-competition mobility routine. I hope this was helpful. Hope it speeds up your recovery after hard workouts or competitions so that you can continue to train and perform at a high level. If you had any pain during this routine or had joint stiffness that wasn't improving after the video, give me a call so we can schedule an appointment to find a solution specific to you and your pain or tightness.